He knows about Shmoo RNG. Look at him. I have divine bad luck.
So on the basis of my extraordinarily bad luck, you think I'm Andraste's herald?
If you know the story of Andraste, you know that bad luck is sort of her thing. Need something?
He knows about Shmoopy RNG. That's funny.
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Oh,
Okay, I think these are all depleted, but we'll try
need
anyway.
something? Or are you just here to admire them? I'll tell you what I can.
What could the Templars want with it?
In Kirkwall, just having the Lyrium idol made Knight Commander Meredith impossibly strong. Before it turned her into a Lyrium statue, anyway. Maybe they thought the power was worth it, or maybe they didn't know the consequences.
I think that's enough on Red Lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Something you wanted to talk about? I'll
There's
tell
another
you
option,
what I
right?
can.
I've seen it infect people like a disease and turn them to lyrium. How can it do that?
That's a good question. To tell the truth, we don't really know what that shit can do to a person. And I don't want to find out.
I think that's enough on Red Lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Something you wanted to talk about?
What can you tell me about this Corypheus?
I'm not exactly an expert, but ask away and I'll answer what I can.
How did you first encounter him?
A few years back, I was dealing with some trouble from a Carter clan that went rogue. They were sending assassins after the Hawk family. We tracked them to a rune in the Vimarks. It turned out to be a trap. Once you went far enough into the rune, there was a magic barrier that kept you from going back. The whole thing was a prison the Grey Wardens were using to hold what they thought was a powerful darkspawn.
I've never heard of wardens locking up Darkspawn. Why wouldn't they just kill him and be done with it?
I don't think they could. From what we saw in there, Corypheus can control Wardens somehow. They couldn't attack him. The Wardens locked him up because there was nothing else they could do.
He looks like some sort of blighted creature, but he speaks. What is he exactly?
The Wardens who imprisoned him thought he was just a darkspawn. But you heard him ranting. He claims he's a Magister. One who assaulted the Golden City, what, more than 1,000 years ago? It seems crazy, but if he's telling the truth, he's one of the people who caused the blights.
You and Hawk both said before he was supposed to be dead.
He was dead. We killed him. The only way for us to escape the prison Corypheus was trapped in was to go through him. We weren't going to just leave the door to his prison open behind us and hope he was dead. We made sure.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's enough about Corypheus.
No problem.
That's him done. I think Solus should be pretty well caught up as well.
I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on...
Perhaps you could ask Sarah. She has opinions.
You don't much care for Sarah, do you?
I pity her. Although I imagine she would detest that. Perhaps in truth, I envy her. She has a purity of purpose that I lack. I have observed too much and done too little. What do you wish to know?
Is elven magic different from the magic used by humans?
No and yes. Magic is magic, just as water is water, but it can be used in different ways. Dalish magic is more practical, not needing chantry approval, although they still frown on blood magic. Superstition, much of it is more subtle. A legacy from when elves were immortal.
The legends of elven immortality. Did they use magic to increase their lifespan?
No. It was simply part of being elven. The subtle beauty of their magic was the effect, not the cause of their nature. Some spells took years to cast. Echoes would linger for centuries, harmonizing with new magic in an unending symphony. It must have been beautiful.
You said that the censure against blood magic was a superstition.
I did. It's fortunate Cassandra is not within earshot. Most modern cultures forbid blood magic. Publicly, even Devinter disapproves of it. But as I said, magic is magic. It matters only in how it is used.
Here's the thing. It depends on what level of blood magic. A little bit of blood magic? I can see that. Like, you know, using a drop of blood for something. You know, you don't slaughter the village, though. That's the, you know, but in theory, yeah.
I don't see it as different from any other magic. It's a means to an end.
Indeed. The problem is that under the Chantry, blood magic is forbidden, so only criminals practice it. While in Tevinter, magisters compete with each other instead of keeping their volatile friends in check. They always succeed through power, so they have never had the chance to learn another way.
Yeah, see, they need to like little drops. It's fine.
I'd like to know more about the elves from before our time.
The Dalish strive to remember Hallam Shiral. But Hallam Shiral was merely a fumbling attempt to recreate a forgotten land.
Arlathan.
Elvanan was the empire, and Arlathan its greatest city. A place of magic and beauty, lost to time.
You've studied ancient elves. What else do you know of Arlathan?
We hear stories of them living in trees, and imagine wooden ramps or Dalish Erebels. Imagine instead spires of crystal twining through the branches, palaces floating among the clouds. Imagine beings who lived forever, for whom magic was as natural as breathing. That is what was lost.
No, you take only small amounts of blood, you know?
I'd like to know more about Dalish.
And if you need a big amount of blood, you gather it over time, so you don't have to kill anyone, or from a lot of people.
Separate clans for centuries now. As a consequence, each clan has learned.
You know, take a drop off 1,000 people, then you have a lot of blood.
Some trade freely with humans, or adopt city elves who flee the alienages. Others attack.
You don't kill the village. That's a little, you know, that's not
What
good.
can you tell me about elves living in human cities?
The culture in alienages or among the slaves of Tevinter is like any of the impoverished and powerless. They cling to memories of a better past and practice a few rituals to distinguish themselves from humans.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. My friend.
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your exploration of the Fate.
I would be happy to share it with you. The Alama... I met the spirit that they fled. She walks the Fade along the southern tundra, weeping lonely and forgotten. Great Ferelden formed because a lonely spirit drove her prey away.
Tell me about the old ruins you explored.
I found an ancient dwarven thaig no longer sheltered by the stone. An earthquake had exposed it all to daylight. 1,000 dwarven corpses.
Like it's all about, you know, never doing too much, you know.
Their last stand marked.
There's not too much blood magic, not too much of other magic.
One small body, clutching tightly to a small stuffed toy.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a dwarf emerge into the light of day and shield his eyes against the sun.
Like it doesn't matter what it is. Too much is always bad.
From his eyes. I thought them from the blazing light until I saw the rock he held so tightly. Then he laid the rock down gently, and he left it as he walked away.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. How can I help?
I need to know more about Corypheus.
We spoke of this on our travels to Skyhawk. What more can I tell you? Cassandra and Varric seem more familiar with their adversary.
Oh, I'll take advice from just about anyone right now.
I'm flattered. I claim no secret wisdom, but I will guess as best I can.
I would like to know more about the orb he carries.
As I said, that must be the means by which he created the breach. I suspect the blast that destroyed the Conclave was more accident than anything. The result of unlocking power that had sought release for ages. What I cannot understand is how he managed to survive such an explosion.
You said that you believe the orb is Elven.
I never would have believed a Devinter mage could unlock such a powerful relic. It clearly enhances his abilities.
Because, like, you know, blood magic is supposedly evil, and then, like,
Like
Now, doing
power
fire
control
magic is
arts.
fine, but what if you create a big old fire that's the sun?
Nothing in any law connects my people to the old god dragons who became archdemons.
Then it's too much fire magic and you burn up the world.
What do you think Corypheus will do next?
See, too much, always bad.
Lost his army, and he has lost all aid.
A little bit of water magic is fine, but if you create so much that you create an ocean, you know, destroy a
We'll
continent.
need to demonstrate that no one in
That's
this world
that's too much water magic. Too much is just bad.
It will not be subtle.
Yeah, I did help the spirit buddy.
As certain as is possible, assuming I can plausibly predict a man
Well,
who seeks
how much
to
we
rise
could help it because it was they already turned it into a demon.
Understanding this, no real god need prove himself. Anyone who tries is mad or lying. His deception will undo him.
Nah.
And countless fools before.
What can you tell me about the sword?
Like, I don't think the circles are a bad idea, but they shouldn't be prisons.
The ancient magistars of Avinta received guidance from the old gods. Corypheus commands a false archdemon, a corrupted old god. This suggests he no longer sees himself as their minion.
And the Templars are fine too, like having a force that can, you know,
The rest may come.
restrain or defeat an evil wizard is a good idea. Because they're
Hear
powerful.
more about what you saw in your exploration of the Fade.
I would be happy to share it with you.
But locking people up for doing nothing wrong initially just makes them want to do things wrong.
Tell me about the old ruins you explored.
I found in the Kokari wilds a humble cottage far removed from any of the simple, chastened tribesmen. The trees and weeds had not reclaimed the home, nor did the chastened dare to come and steal the trinkets still remaining. It was empty, long abandoned, but the world feared that you might return.
Tell me about a spirit you
No, Tevinter is power-hungry people that just happen to be mages.
Almost every land I had discovered, like pride or rage, it was the Fade's reflection of a feeling. When I asked which one it was, the spirit faltered. They've forgotten, said the spirit. There remains no...
Like, if they had been really powerful warriors, they would have made the exact same empire, just built on warriors.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a young Canary working in a simple kitchen, baking bread as she was ordered every morning. In every loaf, she broke the rules. She'd take a pinch of sugar and fold it into the center, like a secret. And this act of small rebellion brought a shining smile across her face.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye.
Alright, that's him done. I think Dorian is the last one we have to talk to. Oh no, Vivienne. Dorian and Vivienne.
Something you need?
I'd like to ask you about Tevin.
Popular topic. Anything specific?
Corypheus is a figure out of Tevinter history. He was a magister.
Yes, but that was a different time. The Imperium's power was at its peak then. The Civil War had ended. The Magisterium was united, its armies scooping up bits of Thedas like candy. The Magisters who entered the Black City. It was a demonstration of how exceptional Tevinter had become.
But who were they?
No one knows. There's no record of a Magister named Corypheus. All this happened 1400 years ago, before the Blight nearly wiped us out. There are no records. Today, people half believe it's all just a story. That's what I believed.
We have evidence the story is very much real.
But not who Corypheus is. If he even remembers. There used to be families who claimed some of those Magisters as their own. That stopped when the Chantry appeared. Then it was shameful, and the families distanced themselves from the tale. All we know is that some men and women entered the Black City looking for the old gods. What did they find? According to Corypheus, nothing. And only he could tell us more.
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own divine?
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face, like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to yours.
Is the Imperial Chantry so different from ours?
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them, for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles of magi in the Imperium?
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce their magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender. It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste was a mortal woman, a mage. Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah blah blah.
A blah blah blah.
They're believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see. So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
So the Imperial
Blah,
Divine
blah,
is
blah.
always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
You still a silly panda.
The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply do not believe in the Chantry. It is a relic, whether back home or here in the south. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the Inquisition represents. I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
In me.
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You saw that in the future, without you, Corypheus prevails. You are our bulwark against...
It's not my fault either.
You don't seem like the religious sort, to be honest.
If you define religious as sitting in a chantry and listening to a blithering hen tell you how to live, then no. If you define it as believing in the possibility that something larger than yourself exists, then yes, by all means. The world is bigger than I, even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe, but I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
Let me ask you something else.
So many questions.
I'm wondering if the Imperium would be a useful ally.
I'd think you'd be more concerned whether or not they'd support the Venatori. They won't. At least, not officially. They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. Secretly, many Magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago. We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy for far too long." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen. I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
That's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
You said Alexius was a mentor of yours.
He was my patron, sponsoring me to the higher levels of the Circle of Magi. In return, my successes were his. I had a lot of successes, naturally. Alexius was most pleased. He and I used to talk over brandy about the corruption, how we could one day make real change in the Imperium. And then he gave up. He stopped trying.
Why did he give up?
On a journey to Hossberg, a Darkspawn raid killed his wife and sickened his son. I remember hearing the news. He hadn't been there, you see. Alexius was convinced he could have protected them. The guilt tore him up. I helped him with his research for a while, and then we drifted apart.
You mean you fought with him?
I told him to snap out of it, move on. I thought I had all the answers. Later, I regretted my hasty words. But we didn't speak again until he approached me for the Venatori. Too much pride, I suppose. Plus, I was busy drinking. One must have priorities.
Was it hard being away from him?
It was hard not having a patron, yes. I'm not exactly built to fit in. At any rate, he's fallen so low, I doubt he'll ever get up. Sad, really.
I should go.
Naturally.
There's a lot of chatting everyone up.
Here is the request the leader of the tradesmen made.
Yes, I'll see to it.
I don't know if Vivienne will have a lot to say, but we'll check. What up?
Inquisitor, what can I do for you, darling?
I wanted to ask you about...
Of course. What do you wish to know?
You must have an opinion of the Templars after living so long.
Yeah, oh yeah, Morrigan. I forgot about her.
Opinions about Templars, my dear, is exactly like having opinions about mages.
Yeah, Liliana, Cullen, and
Some who
Josephine are fine.
impossible to endure, and some
Because
who are
Josephine is stuck in
I have suffered insults at the hands of those in the armor.
that quest that we need to do with
From nobles or
a thing on the
tradesmen,
board,
white.
on the war table.
Personally, I have
And
found
Cullen and
myself
Liliana, I think I'm up to date.
skilled at keeping more unpleasant elements at bay.
If the Circle disbanded, how can you still belong to it?
The circle is an idea, my dear, and an idea cannot be dissolved. Many of the first enchanters voted for rebellion, caring little that anything short of a unanimous decision would pit mage against mage. Rather than dissolving it, Grand Enchanter Fiona's vote split the circle in two. The rebels follow her, the loyalists follow me.
If you lead all the Loyalists, why are you only First Enchanter and not Grand Enchanter?
Grand Enchanters are elected, and since there are no First Enchanters besides myself, no vote can be held. I could name myself Grand Enchanter, but the title holds no meaning now. When the circles are restored, that will change.
What was it like to live in a circle?
My dear, your question is the root of all problems with mages. I cannot tell you. Every circle was different. Their Templars were different, their politics unique. And every person within each tower had an experience of circle life unique to themselves. Some people suffered and some were content. Some were cruel, some compassionate, and some indifferent. The same is true of people everywhere, in all circumstances, whether they are mages or not.
So, tell me about your personal experience with the Circle.
I enjoyed life in the Montsimard Circle, my dear. It was an edifice devoted to knowledge and refinement. And mages need the company of other mages. No one else can truly understand the challenges we face, nor see the world as we do.
You must have been under constant supervision being forced by Templars to live in the tower. Was that hard to endure?
My dear, I have a suite in the palace and a wing at my dear Duke Bastien's estate. I've never been forced to live anywhere. Most circles allowed mages to live away from the tower, either on their own or in service to the nobility. All that was required was permission from the first enchanter. Some circles were harsher in their restrictions. Kirkwall was the worst, but it was the exception. Most were quite permissive. Perhaps too permissive, in retrospect.
How did we come to this state where the Circle's in revolt?
A failure of perspective that infected Circle leadership. Mages lived solely in a world of Templars and mages. They could not even imagine what was beyond the tower walls. Kirkwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia, again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendously ill-timed and selfish vote for independence, I thought her adequate at her job. In her dotage, she could not handle looking after the well-being of so many people. We would have done better to replace her years ago, to let her spend time gardening.
Did they have cause to rebel?
In the aftermath of their terrorist attacks? Was that really the most opportune time to break away? By all means, protest abuses by the Templars. Just don't do it in a way that says mages support wholesale murder. By voting when they did, my colleagues all but declared war upon the ordinary people of Thedas. A war in which we are outnumbered 100 to 1.
I thought the fighting was only between mages and Templars. Why are mages fighting mages?
The vote for independence was carried by only a small margin, but Fiona chose to let the motion stand. Those who opposed a rash declaration of war against the entire free world had little choice. By breaking from the Chantry when they did, the rebels declared themselves in support of mass murder. Anyone who did not wish to support terrorism and the slaughter of innocents was forced to take arms against the rebels. Inquisitor, what can I do for you, darling?
I'd like to know more about you, Madame Vivienne.
Whatever would you like to know?
I'm curious how a Circle mage winds up at court here.
Nobody winds up at court, my dear. It takes a great deal of effort to arrive there. I caught the eye of Duke Bastien.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
Enchanter to the Imperial.
Okay. Murder.
Wandering the gardens, I see.
I'd like to know more about you.
If you have questions, then ask.
It's all...
I stand boldly before them and demand to know why I need some Chantry mage to teach me to control my power. They would put me on a leash so they can feel safer at night. I am uninterested in their comfort. Naturally, it helps to have friends in high places. Of course.
Alright, we basically depleted her conversation already. Good shit. Jump, jump, jump. Alright, let's go to the war table, put some... some more things up. That's a repeatable. See, I wish those repeatables would be marked different.
At your service.
Oh, that was the same thing I didn't like about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was like there was no difference between marking of regular quests and like some repeatable thing for resources. But here we go. Time to go bonk this man in the head. It's an evil man's, and he requires a bonk.
This is it. The heart of Samson's command.
I don't see him anywhere. Or hear him.
Nor I. Maker, tell me he hasn't fled.
Billy coming in like a wrecking ball, boys. Sneak attack! Ah! Fell down the stairs. Yo, big Momojo.
This place is already half destroyed.
Samson must have ordered the Templar to sack his headquarters, so we couldn't.
Sorry, Curly. Someone tipped off Samson you were coming.
I think you're right. Still, we've dealt Samson a blow.
Oh, Cullen is he's just going for it, isn't he? I've really seen him like chug 5 potions in the time that he's been in this fight. Luckily, he doesn't share our potion supply, so he can drink as many potions as he wants. They think they're ready for Billy. They're wrong. Nobody's ever ready for Billy. Oh no, who's this? It's a monk looking dude.
Hello, Inquisitor.
You know me?
Oh, he's a tranquil.
Maddox, Samson's tranquil. Something's wrong. I'll send for the healers.
That would be a waste, Knight Captain Cullen. I drank my entire supply of Blightcap essence. It won't be long now.
We only wanted to ask you questions, Maddox.
Yes. That is what I could not allow. I destroyed the camp with fire. We all agreed it was best. Our deaths ensured Samson had time to escape.
You threw your lives away for Samson? Why?
Samson saved me even before he needed me. He gave me purpose again. I wanted to help.
We should check the camp. Maddox may have missed something.
Let's look around.
Samson left a message. Me.
What does it say?
Drink enough lyrium and its song reveals the truth. The chantry used us, you're fighting the wrong battle. Corypheus chose me as his general and his vessel of power. Now there's such nonsense. Does he think I'll understand? What does he know? Dismal place to die. It can't have been much of a place to live either under Samson's command.
What else do you remember about Samson? The man he used to be.
Does it matter? He used to be kind when he carries so far. Yet Maddox died to help him escape. Samson does command loyalty.
Is there anything in the camp that could help? Or point us to Samson?
It's hard to tell. All I see is smoke and ash. If this is Samson's idea of remaking the world, I prefer yours.
We can't leave Maddox here. He should be properly laid to rest.
There's enough fires. We can cremate him.
Samson did his best for Maddox. We can do no less.
I'll keep looking around.
Lyrium bottles, licked clean.
Drinking it, wearing it, growing it. You can't say Samson isn't committed.
Who is Samson taking? His resistance must be extraordinary.
This must have been Maddox's room.
The fire couldn't destroy these entirely. Whatever they are.
Those are Lyrian forging implements. Of remarkable design. Intact, they'd be worth a fortune.
Okay.
Maddox used these to make Samson's armor. She could use them to unmake it. We have him.
Yes, Inquisitor. I'll keep looking around.
All right. Quick raid on a fortress later. 1 Billy victory. Let's world map this. I can. Doop 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 doop.
The Red Lyrium deposits are being destroyed, and we've cut the Red Templars down to the core. It's a pity Maddox thought his sacrifice was the only answer. But that leaves Samson with a severely curtailed army, and enchanted armor he can't maintain. You did it.
We both fought to make this happen. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, thank you. But my work's not done yet. We're getting recruits by the hour. There's more than a few ex-Templars among them. We've struck a blow and given people hope. This is a true victory.
True victory.
Inquisitor, I finished it. Are you talking? Sorry. Have it anyhow.
You mean this rune?
It's not just any rune. I made it with red lyrium and what's left of poor Maddox's tools. The rune acts on the median fissures of lyrium to... It'll destroy Samson's armor. He'll be powerless.
We'll cut Corypheus off from his most powerful officer.
Maddox covered Samson's tracks thoroughly. But wherever Samson's retreated, we'll find him. Your army stands ready, Inquisitor. For Samson, for Corypheus, for whatever you command.
Go get me snacks. That is what I command. For snacks are tasty.
Inquisitor?
I should get to know you better.
What would you...
All right, where are you from?
I grew up in Ferelden, near Honleath. I was
Traveling to Haven was the first I'd returned in almost 10 years.
You were away from Ferelden for 10 years.
Strange. I was not sorry to leave Ferelden when I did, but leaving Haven was more difficult than I would have imagined. Not just because it felt like I was abandoning my home. I never thought I'd feel that way again.
What was Kirkwall like?
While I was there, Canary occupied and then attacked the city. The Viscount's murder caused political unrest. Relations between mages and Templars fell apart, an apostate blew up the Chantry, and the Knight Commander went mad. Other than that, it was fine.
What happened between Kirkwall's mages and Templars?
You were at the Conclave. You must have heard people speak of it.
Yes, but you were there.
There was tension between mages and Templars long before I arrived. Eventually, it reached a breaking point. There was fighting in the streets. Abominations began killing both sides. It was a nightmare.
Varric's from Kirkwall. Did you two know each other?
I knew he was friends with the champion of Kirkwall, but little else. We've spoken more since I joined the Inquisition, largely at Varric's insistence. Apparently, I spend too much time with a serious expression on my face, and it's bad for my health.
I'll let you return to your work.
Should you require anything, I'll be here.
Doink, doink. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor. How far in Deep Rock Galactic did I get? No idea. I always played it with Alex and I think Revan a couple of times, but I have very little recollection of what we actually did. Oh, as far as I got last time, however far that was. I'll check it in a moment here anyway, because I'll probably have to go doing that again. That's fine.
Let us begin.
Alright, let's see if we can resolve Josephine's kerfuffle.
Thank you for seeing me in private, Minister Belize.
I chastise you for taking me from the party, Inquisitor, but the Marquis throws such dull affairs, it's hardly worth it. I assume you wish to discuss your petition to elevate these du Paraquets to a minor lordship. Tell me, why should I allow you to pollute the Orlesian nobility any further than it's already been muddled?
The Duperacats used to be noble. You'd be restoring an old house of Orlais.
Restoring it far too late. What are the Duperacats now? Traders? Farmers? Really, it is too much. The very thought causes me pain. What can you possibly provide that will make your petition worth my effort?
Diplomatic connections that reach far beyond the boundaries of Val Royeaux, perhaps.
I might make use of your ambassador. The Montiliers aren't what they were, but at least they're from proper stock. Arrange for me to be introduced to the court of Antiva. I hear winter is most pleasant by their sea. Very well, Inquisitor. Should you fulfill this bargain, I shall raise the Duparacets into lordship.
There we go. Diplomatic Billy. Sorry. It's also a thing. Not a very common thing, but sometimes there's diplomatic Billy. I would never. Why would I do that? B is B.
Inquisitor?
Billy is Billy.
I must return to Val Royeaux to see that everything is in order. Please join me when you can.
I'm jealous of his worms? Nah. I'm entirely fine with being the only non-disease ridden or parasite ridden person. You have the syphilis for sure. That too.
I received a letter from the House of Repose, Your Worship. They acknowledge their contract is null and void. There is no longer a price on my life.
I'm glad you don't have to live your life looking over your shoulder anymore.
I regret we were forced to deal with them. That you were endangered by my part in the game. Did I ever mention I used to be a bard?
You were a singer.
Bards entertain the Orlesian court. They sing, play music, make charming conversation, and spy. Many young nobles put on a mask and practice playing the game in such a fashion.
What made you interested in becoming a bard?
I was attending a university in Val Royeaux when I learned about bards. There was such an air of romance about them. Stories of secrets, trysts, and fascinating people. A group of us, young gentry from Antiva, decided this exciting life was for us.
You seem a bit steady for such an outgoing lifestyle.
The life of an entertainer didn't suit me at all. During one particular intrigue, I encountered a bard sent to kill my patron. We fought. Or perhaps scrapped is the better word. Both of us terrified. We were at the top of a steep flight of stairs. The other bard drew a knife, and I pushed him away from me. You can imagine the result.
You were only defending yourself.
But it was such a waste, Inquisitor. When I took off his mask, I knew him. We'd attended parties together. If I'd stopped to reason, if I'd used my voice instead of scuffling like a common thug, I'll always wonder who that young man would have grown into.
From bard to diplomat is quite a change in direction.
I was headed down that path for some time already. That night merely crystallized it. In all the commotion... forgive me, I don't believe I ever thanked you for helping me with this.
Hold on to it. Don't lose sight of why you came here.
I will never forget you helped save the House of Montilyet, Inquisitor. And should you ever visit Antiva, stories of the welcome we'll give you will be told for years.
Shazam! Well, I guess we'll try this one as well. Can't quite find what level it's supposed to be, but thought it was DLC, but we'll see. Either way, we'll probably be fine at this point.
Someone's been here.
Splish splash, won't be sticking the band. Energize.
It's strange that I can understand that.
The secrets of this temple have remained unspoken for too long. They wish to be known.
Now that's strange.
It's as if the altar is waking up.
Level 11, huh? Yeah, I think we'll be alright.
It's warm. Juicy, too. Pleasant.
It is alive. The creature connected to it is alive. It is but one piece of the whole.
This place is bigger than you'd think.
No way through this gate. Wonder what it's made of.
Oh no, we didn't have any yet. It's as good a reason as any, right? Pull the lever, Kronk. More of anything, exactly. Alright, nice little pile in the door. The funny thing is that it's level 7 and 11 I've seen so far. I got this quest when I was like in the late teens of leveling. So it's not like I had it when it was level appropriate, I guess. That's a bit weird. Okay.
Another one of the explorers?
Took his chest and crawled into a corner to die.
Yeah, that's why I tend to like it when games tell you, like, you know, this area is level 1 through 7 and this is like 5 to 10. Like, I know it's a little immersion breaking and whatnot, but at least I'll be doing them in, you know, an order that makes some sense progression wise.
And the torch goes out. Of course it does.
Because, like, basically now we're here for the story bit. Because any of the loot is not going to be interesting. Unless it's like a ring or something that gives just like a base stat that's really good. Yeah, as a general rule, there probably isn't going to be much in here that's going to be super interesting. Maybe some crafting materials, that could be a thing, yeah. Some velveteen, it appears. Yeah, that could prove helpful.
One of the explorers, or his remains anyway.
Careful. Bringing those organs here, putting them back together. Who knows what will happen?
We're assembling something, it would seem.
Here's where the magic happens. Literally.
I mean, in fairness, like, it doesn't even matter too much, because so far all we found is, like, white items, which, we never have any reason to use anyway. They're not exactly missing out on anything. It's just money, and let's be fair as well, we haven't exactly needed money in a while. So it's not like we're like missing out because we had no cash. Locked by some kind of mechanism, eh? Eh? It would seem I've missed something in here. Let's have a look. Oh.
Where could this key lead? Somewhere back in the ritual area, perhaps.
Oh, we know where the key area is. Was that the lever? I couldn't pull it earlier because I think I lockpicked the door. But I thought it just opened the door, but it might have been over here. Hey man, what's up? Alright. It's still locked. Interesting. I'm gonna double check. Maybe I have to kill that last guy. Nope.
So this is where the key leads.
More lever pulling Kronk. Kiko!
We're near another artifact. The wards are working.
Alright, easy murder. Okay, so the last piece is in here, so there must be like a lever or something we missed. That is the only explanation. So we shall have to go and wander around. Oh, a door. Varric, get on that shit. There we go. Oh, okay, this is how we get here. We simply have to come in from the other side. Hello from the other side. Open with some kind of lever, like this one, but then we can't pull it. Now we can, okay. I'm a little bit short and stout. Here's my handle and here's my spout. Summon the highest one. This is it.
That was the high priest of the temple.
imprisoned in silence and despair by his own followers. A sad legacy.
Okie dokie, artichoke.